So many of us don't know how to tell error from the truth. And like, I'll just give two examples, okay? First off, in the let's say the spiritual realm, people actually believe that hell is Satan's kingdom. That's ridiculous. It's not. It's like he rules that area. That's actually pretty freaking false. It's just not true. There's also people who actually believe that white people are guilty inherently because of what they look like. And that obviously is not true either, because you can't base a blanket term and a blanket idea upon an entire people group and call that the truth and then try to say that you're virtuous for pointing it out and then living according to that standard. That's freaking ridiculous. So the twisted thinking, the twisted ideas, you have to be able to look through and just find, first off, if it's boo-boo wrapped in truth, okay? Boo-boo wrapped in truth means that the inside is a lie, the exterior might be the truth. So the interior of this thing is all boo-boo, like the Satan thing. If you understand anything about spirituality, even Christology, you understand that hell is actually a place of punishment, not just for people. Like, it wasn't even made for people. It's actually made for Satan and his demons. That's actually what it was made for. And then in that realm, those angels, those demons, Satan, are actually punished. They're punished for eternity. That's why, okay, and then this is the deal. The reason why they're punished, they're not offered forgiveness, is because they actually were in the presence of God. So they know and knew what God actually was, who God actually was, and they made a choice to try to do something different. So that's what happened. They basically said, I've got a better way than the way that my creator, because God created angels, I've got a better way that my creator has for me to live and to be. I'm a conscious and recognizable being, but I've got a better way. And that's why they got clapped out and freaking sent to hell, okay? So that's why hell was made. That's accordingly, that's actually why they try to tell people, via whispers, because they are actually invisible, but they do manifest themselves through and in people sometimes, that hell doesn't exist or that Satan doesn't exist, because they understand, they actually acknowledge Christ, but they understand that the more that they get inside of this place because of God's love for humans, the better they are, the better off they are, because that's very spiteful, very hateful. They actually hate people. They hate people. Okay, so that's where that comes from. But there's people out there that want to believe that hell and angels and demons don't exist. But in reality, the reason why they can't exist because then God doesn't exist. That's actually what that's about. Well, when you get to the whole issue with white people being guilty, you got to go to some of the statements made by some of these Democratic candidates about what they believe about white people. Because there was I think the dude's name was Andrew Gillum, when he's running for Florida governor against DeSantis, he literally actually said, you have to play to white guilt. You have to play to white guilt because white people, they eat that stuff. That's actually what he was basically saying. I'm paraphrasing right now, but his whole idea was you can use white guilt to gain a black advantage. And that's actually what some of these other candidates are doing. Like that dude in Georgia, that dude's a freaking straight up heretic. He uses the pulpit as a social justice means. And this is why it's so irritating to even hear this and to know that it's actually happened and that people actually eat this stuff up, is that he's not only responsible for the people who he's leading, but he's leading people astray spiritually. That is one of the worst things that a pastor can ever do. And that's actually where, we're held to a higher standard as pastors. Paul wrote about this. But if you don't understand that as an individual who's secular and you're trying to teach the Bible without knowing the Bible, you basically are calling upon yourself judgment because you don't understand what you're actually talking about. So this is why I do that private group and I teach about the Bible, because it's like, you need to know what this stuff actually says, because if you're not understanding it, you'll get led astray. And that's actually what the whole point of what I'm saying to you today. If you don't understand what's happening in society and how these people are using white people, how they're using the Christian faith against people, they're using these ideologies against white people to flare up black folks against white people, Mexicans against white people against white people, then you won't understand what's happening. And this is why so many of you inherently, like something inside of you was saying that something's not right about what's being said, and you weren't understanding what that was, but something was telling you this isn't right. What I'm being told isn't right. And your intuition was true. It's that like you're not being told the truth. You're being fed a lie, and you're basically getting it shoved down your throat. And when that happens, you have the opportunity to say, hey, cool out on that crap, dude. I am not freaking believing that. And because I don't believe it, doesn't make me a bad person. Like all this crap with Gavin Newsom. Just because you don't believe that COVID is as bad as what these people are saying, that it actually might be equivalent to the goddamn freaking influenza flu, that you're not a bad person for not wanting to abide by all the guidelines. Yeah, you might wear a freaking mask. You might want to gather in places with more than 30 people, but you're not a bad freaking person. Don't let nobody tell you that either. Okay? Don't let anybody tell you that. Doesn't matter who they are, whatever. Do not let somebody impose upon you shame, because you are not a shameful person. You are not built in shame. You are not created in shame. You are not designed in shame. You are a cared and loved person, and God desires that from you, okay? So I want you to understand this. With all this social justice crap, and I'm going to get into this one day too, about how a whole lot of Christians are actually universalists without even knowing that they're universalists, because they've been fed universalism from the pulpit, which is terrible. Again, these pastors who are feeding this crap, they're going to have some to freaking answer to, because they're responsible for every single one of those souls. Universalism is not Christianity. That's not Christianity. Universalism is something completely wholly different, and I've never. Okay, so understand this. When you are fed the lie and you feel intrinsically that something's wrong, that you're being fed something that's not true, that's why you ask questions. That's why you come to the critical thinking positions in your life, when you ask the questions and you come to your decisions based off of what the logic actually is. The rational, like you go through every single one of the steps. Rational logic tells you that what you're being fed is a lie, and believe it. It's a freaking lie, okay? And you can walk away from it. You can throw it away. When these people, they tell you to do something and then they do something completely different, that means that they don't believe what they're saying, okay? And you don't have to believe what they're saying either. You don't, okay? You make your own decisions. You do what you want to do. You are a free American. You make up your own mind and you have your own ideas, and don't be shamed about that. At the same time, too, if you're a person on that couch and you're seeing these things happen in front of you, understand there are people out there who are preaching, teaching, talking, and imposing upon you twisted ideas. And those ideas, they're supposedly their truth. That truth is a freaking lie. And that lie is coming straight to that TV, because those people on TV, they want to control you. And you don't have to believe it, especially you who are definitely impacted by this white fragility crap. Don't believe it.